In this video, we are going to solve equations with cube roots. So we've done cubics, we're going to actually do cubics and cube roots. So the first one I'm going to solve is I'm going to solve the cubic equation. And this is number 12 on your review. And number 12 is you've got 4 times x minus 3 cubed plus 15 equals 15. So what I want to do is, remember up here, we isolated the x when we were doing the value of x using the square roots and getting rid of the square roots. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I need to isolate the x, and this is going to be just like when we're solving quadratics. So my first step is going to be to get the x term, which is this whole factor right here. I've got to get that all by itself first. So I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides, and that's going to give me 4 times x minus 3 cubed, that cancels, equals 1500. Once I've done that, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the others. I've got to divide. So I've got to get that 4 out of there, so I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So this is going to leave me with x minus 3 cubed. Okay, x minus 3 cubed, and then we have to do 1500 divided by 4. So 4 goes into 15 3 times. It goes into 37 times and 25 times. So we've got 375. Okay, so you end up with 375. So what we're going to do next is we have got to find the cube root. Remember, you always do the inverse operation. So this is cubed, we're going to do the cube root. So you're going to take the cube root of both sides. Now, the cube root of this side is easy. That just leaves us with x minus 3. If you want to find the cube root of the other side, you do it in the calculator. And here's how we do it with the calculator. In your calculator, you actually have in the math menu, again, I'll show you from the beginning. Whoops, second, quit. You hit math, and then you can see number 4 is cube root. Number 4 is the cube root. So you hit enter, and I'm trying to find the cube root of 375. What to the third power gives me 375? And that comes out to 7.2. So I'm going to put 7.2 here. And then I'm going to finish this up like I do every algebraic expression. I've got to get the x by itself, so I'm going to add 3. So x equals 10.2. And that's how you solve cubes. So if you want to solve the cubes and you find the cube root, now we're going to look at some where you're actually taking the cube root. So this is going to be number 13. So we're going to look at number 13. In number 13, you have negative 3 times the cube root of x plus 4 plus 2 equals 1. This is 13a. Well, notice the difference. Here, it's cubed, and I need to get to x. Here, I have the cube root. So what I'm going to end up doing is the inverse. So instead of taking the cube root to solve it, when I get done with all my addition and multiplication and division, I'm going to be cubing it to solve it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 2 over. So that 2 goes to the other side. So I have negative 3 times the cube root of x plus 4 equals 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. My next step, I'm going to do division. I'm going to divide both sides by that negative 3. So that's going to leave me with the cube root of x plus 4 equals positive 1/3. So now we come to a point where we have to get rid of the radical sign somehow. Well, since it's the cube root, we're going to do the inverse operation and cube it. So I'm going to cube both sides. So that's going to give me x plus 4 on this side and 1 over 27 on this side, because 1/3 cubed is 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. And then for my last step, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert the 1/27th to a decimal. So I'm going to do Hopefully you can see that. So I'll put the calculator here. I'm going to do 1 divided by 27 minus 4. Just put it in the calculator. You get negative. X is negative 3.96. So that's how you do solve the equations that have the cube root. So let's do another one. Let's do the next one on the cube root. Let's do part B. So this is going to be 13b. There we go. So this is going to be 13b. 13b is 4 times the cube root of x minus 2 minus 3 equals 5. So again, my first step is going to be to do any addition or subtraction. I've got to move that 3 over, so I'm going to add it. So that leaves me with 4 times the cube root of x minus 2 equals 8. Then I need to divide both sides by that 4. Remember, I'm trying to isolate this term right here. So those go to 1, so that leaves me with the cube root of x minus 2. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now I'm ready to get rid of the radical sign. So since it's a cube root, I'm going to do the inverse operation, and I'm going to cube it. So that's going to leave me with x minus 2, and then 2 cubed is 8. And then I'm going to solve for x by adding 2 to both sides. So x equals 10. All right. So let's do one more example. And we'll do 13c. 13c is the cube root of x plus 1 plus 2 equals 1. So my first step, any addition or subtraction I need to do, in this case I do need to move that 2, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. That's going to leave me with the cube root of x plus 1 equals negative 1, because I have 1 minus 2. My next step, I don't have anything to divide by. There's no coefficient in front of the radical, so I'm ready to cube both sides to the 3rd power. That gives me x plus 1 equals negative 1. Negative 1 to the 3rd is negative 1. And then I'm going to move the 1 over, so minus 1 minus 1. So x equals negative 2. And again, you can always plug these back in and check your answers. If I plug in negative 2 for x, negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. The cube root of negative 1 is negative 1, plus 2 is 1. If I plug this back in, 10 minus 2 is 8. 4 times the cube root of 8, which is 2. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 3 is 5. So you can plug it all in and check it out.